Story number 1. This is going to be a lot, but I don't really have anyone to talk to about it. We've been married 17 years. Like all marriages, we have had ups and downs, but generally our relationship has been open, honest, and wonderful. Until 2020. That's when everything went sideways. My wife has several mental health issues, made much worse when the pandemic lockdowns happened. I tried to be supportive and provide her needs, but I am on the spectrum and don't always understand. I was only recently confirmed to be on the spectrum, so for most of our marriage, we didn't really understand why I struggled with things that others seemed to find easy. To be clear, I still did everything I could to support my wife during her struggles through the pandemic. I took all home responsibilities and took care of our 2 little children without complaining. About 3 months ago, she began an emotional affair with a coworker. I knew something was off, but honestly thought she was still struggling with her mental health. It did get physical once, and I found out about it shortly after they were private. Since I have found out, we have both started therapy, and she is adamant that it was a mistake, that she was only talking to him because of the difficulty I have showing and understanding emotion. She has also made real progress on her mental health and is studying to better communicate with me in a way I understand. I do want to reconcile, but I am having a very difficult time getting over what happened. I'm having trouble forgiving, and I can't stop seeing her with him in my mind. I am so hurt about it. I have never been mean or even rude to my wife. I always treat her with respect, but now I feel like she has never really felt the same way. Or how could she have done this? If anyone has advice on how to move forward, I would really appreciate it. Don't let her manipulate you, OP. She is using her mental problems as an excuse to cheat on you. She's insane. She even blames you for having difficulty showing emotions just to justify her cheating. I don't care how bad her mental health is. If she isn't interested in you and wants someone else, then she should leave and don't cheat. Cut her off. Process divorce. You gotta move forward without a cheater and you'll be fine. There has to be consequences. Not only that, you kept taking on more responsibilities, freeing up her time to actually commit the affair. If you want to reconcile, go to her HR and report her and her AP. She needs to cut all contact with AP. You need to establish boundaries. She disrespected you, your kids, and your family. She needs to receive consequences, and she needs to find ways to regain your trust. P.S. You can't just sweep this under the rug and forget about it. It will haunt you. Very much in agreement with this, her actions need consequences. Instead of talking to you about how she was feeling regarding your emotional availability, she goes and starts an affair? Then she guilt trips you with her crocodile tears saying it was a mistake and gets no consequences? Did she say she'd cut contact with this coworker? Is she gonna change jobs to be away from him? What has she done to try and fix her mistakes? She's the cheater, not you. This is a fair question. She isn't changing jobs, but is going to work at home to avoid any contact with him. And she is adamant that it was a mistake, that she was only talking to him because of the difficulty I have showing and understanding emotion. This is BS and is not the sign of someone who is remorseful for what she did. Cheating is also not a mistake. Hundreds of decisions had to be made in the affirmative before she ended up screwing him. I would report the affair to their HR department and make sure everything they did was brought to light. After that, if you want to try to reconcile, that is up to the 2 of you, but behavior like that can't be left hidden and in the dark. She has not respected you, but instead acted in the most selfish, deceitful, and hurtful manner a spouse can. As for progress, you don't have any idea if she has made any progress or not because she is confirmed to be able to lie and deceive you without any problem doing it. I am a big fan of marriage counseling as a preventative measure, but after the fact, someone is going to get blamed, which lets one person acquitted and the other person annoyed and not wanting to go back. I do believe in individual counseling. I also don't believe in rewarding a cheating spouse with love, respect, or trust unless their actions and words earn them. Read about the 180. Some parts of this would be helpful for you. Link. Reconciliation should be one of the hardest things she has ever tried to do, and I wouldn't give her much hope of it being successful, no matter what your heart is telling you. This is a time for your lack of emotions to drive what you do. You obviously have things you need to work on, but that should be done through IC, and without her being a part of it. You need to be able to get mad, call her names, and be an annoyed AH, if that's what you need, and you can't do that in MC or around her. We are both in individual counseling, and HR has been notified and an investigation is underway. I appreciate your post and will review the 180. Unfortunately, she doesn't feel real remorse for what she's done. There is no difficulty you can have showing and understanding emotion that can justify her cheating. If anything, as an outsider, it makes her sound like an even worse person, because learning of your diagnosis may have convinced her that you would miss some of the things about her behavior that someone not on the spectrum would view as a red flag. As long as she blames you and not her bad decisions, she is not really trying to make things work long term. Story number 2. I, male 53, very recently discovered that my wife, female 51, of 26 years had an additional affair with a coworker on top of an affair with another guy that I already knew about 20 plus years ago. I found Facebook messages between her and this guy from 2013 where he mentions a weekend in Vegas they'd spent in 2000, and he asked her if she'd be up for another one, writing, "We haven't done that in 13 years. She thankfully declined, but this news hit me like a Mack truck. I knew this guy, she talked about him, and I always got a bad feeling about him. I can remember a conversation from back then where she said he'd tried flirting with her, and I jokingly said, "Should I beat him up?" And she laughed and said, "Probably." To compound things, since I confronted my wife about this, she acted as if I should just get over it immediately since it happened so long ago. She feels like she's being punished. Meanwhile, I've been in a tailspin, ruminating over every conversation and suspicion from that time, asking her questions, looking at this dude's Facebook and LinkedIn accounts repeatedly, as if I could dig up some new nugget of information. I'm really ducking annoyed that she remained in contact with this guy. We moved pretty far away in 2001. They haven't worked at the same company since. From what I could tell from the Facebook messages and what she tells me, they haven't physically seen each other since. But they kept up occasional correspondence that ended in 2015 from what I saw on Facebook. It's total BS. So yeah, that's my story. I'm back feeling like I did 20 plus years ago, only I'm 20 plus years older and feeling stuck in the sunk cost fallacy. I spent almost 30 years with this woman. It's been mostly good. She's been a good mother and partner, and we have a good time together. But dang, this is hurting, and her unwillingness to go through these emotions with me is making it harder. She's the type of woman who wants you to get over her multiple affairs as if nothing has happened. What the duck? You gotta take action now. You failed to do it 20 years ago. Do it for yourself. Stop being a doormat. Cut her off and move on. Don't worry about your grandchildren having divorced grandparents. They will understand and respect you for it if you decide to part ways, which is better in my own opinion. You have the chance to do it now, and at least make her feel and suffer the consequences of her actions. So, ask yourself how many you still haven't managed to catch. She has zero remorse for her actions because she probably knows there will be no consequences, just like the previous time. She had her side fun and now wants you to just get over it. That's exactly how I see it. You honestly need to get into counseling immediately, or it is going to eat you up. What you do with the information regarding your marriage is up to you, but you already have all the information you need to make a decision. Digging deeper won't help and will only take you deeper down the rabbit hole. As for your wife, it may have happened for her 20 plus years ago, but it just happened to you, and now you have to deal with the issues of lack of trust. Now. You haven't had 20 plus years to make a decision about her and your marriage because the last 20 years with her have been a lie. I hope you can get past it, but that would be a gut shot, and any lack of empathy on her part might be a deal breaker. You wouldn't be the first person to end a marriage over infidelity 20 plus years in the past. It is as much about the lies, deceit, and deception over all those years as the act itself. That last sentence says it all. This. So yeah, that's my story. I'm back feeling like I did 20 plus years ago, only I'm 20 plus years older and feeling stuck in the sunk cost fallacy. I've spent almost 30 years with this woman. It's been mostly good. She's been a good mother and partner, and we have a good time together. But dang, this is hurting, and her unwillingness to go through these emotions with me is making it harder. So sorry, OP. Reminder, we get one shot on this spinning rock. That's all I've been thinking about. I tied myself to a pretzel 20 years ago in order to get to a point where we could stay together, and now I find out about this in my 50s. With my family history, I probably have 20 to 25 years tops left. Do I really want to spend it tying that pretzel even tighter? My gut feeling is to bail. Only thing keeping me here is the thought of our future grandkids having divorced grandparents. Those grandbabies will be good, if you are. OP, don't worry about the grandchildren. They will have grandpa's back more than your wife ever has when they are old enough to understand. They will respect you much more knowing how you handled your wife's infidelity. Having divorced grandparents is fine. Your current, future grandchildren want a happy, fulfilled grandpa, not one who stayed miserable for their sake. Worldwide comments of the day. Her friends really had the audacity to say you should be lucky here with the girl who cheated on you for 5 months. One piece of advice to you, my man: run. It's better that you found out before the European vacation. Remember, you can be whoever you want in this new city you are headed to. Use this knowledge to forge an even better life in your new surroundings. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting and relatable Reddit videos.